Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Give you an update because some of you are going to ask about the dog that we have that, well, someone dumped out here in the woods and we're taking it in. He went to the vet today. All they did was a checkup and they trimmed his nails that were excessively long. And based on what's gone on with him that we know of and just his condition, the condition that he was in, they think he's in pretty good shape for the most part. The plan is that we're going to keep feeding him good food. We're giving him probiotics now. And we're also giving him some supplements. One's a hip and joint supplement with some turmeric and some glucosamine and a few other good things in it. And then just another one is just a general overall herbal senior dog supplement. So we're doing that, getting him some exercise, love, all that kind of stuff. And he's definitely showing improvement. He's certainly walking better since he's had the 2 and 3 inch long nails trimmed off of him. But we'll probably in a couple of weeks get another checkup to see how he's doing and progressing. But she said that she thought he had a pretty good prognosis of doing all right. The worst thing that they could really find is that he, was a little wormy, but most farm dogs are wormy. We worm our dogs on a regular basis because when they live on the farm, they're going to be eating stuff every once in a while, and that's just normal. But she felt that was an easy fix. Had a small knot on one of his legs, but she didn't think that it looked too concerning, at least at this point. But overall, he's doing pretty good and eating and just enjoying himself, I would say, based on... Oh, another thing. I had suspected this. My wife and I talked about this, and I said, I think this might be what the deal is with this dog. And the vet confirmed, well, at least thinks the same thing. Believes that he was probably a puppy mill dog. Not a puppy, but he was the breeder. He was the stud, or one of them. Just from his appearances and stuff, it looks like he has been in a cage probably most of his life. And in fact, I have put him in... we have a large, pet kennel thing, and he goes right in like he's just used to going in there. Most dogs kind of, that's never been in one doesn't like getting in one, but he goes right in it easily. So I suspect that was his thing, that he was a puppy mill dog, and they used him up, and then they took him out in the woods and dumped him. So anyways, old Klausy Swab is at it again. I'm sure that YouTube will put a little disclaimer warning or something about how the World Economic Forum isn't trying to take over the world. Well, no, they're not, but they're trying to guide the collapse so that it benefits all the global elites. You know that. They're not the ones in control, but they're the public front, I guess, of the elites that's in control. And later on this month, they're doing their annual big Davos meeting, where all the big shots come to. And this year, their theme this year is to build trust, to rebuild trust, that the people, the humanity, to trust them. Because apparently, they're saying that some of their objectives have failed, in the sense that basically folks like myself and others have talked too much about them, and there's too many people out there that don't trust them, that thinks they're a bad deal. And so they've got to implement plans and policies to get them back on track and advance. That's the thing, to advance their objectives this year, that they need to be pushing it much faster. Now, this is my interpretation only. Okay, I know that on one hand you might say, wow, we're winning, we're doing a good job, we're pushing back, and I can agree with that, but I also believe that means it's probably going to be a crazy year, that some stuff's going to happen or have to happen to, for them to be able to come out and say, see, we've been warning you about this. This is why you should trust us, because cyber warfare is real, and they took out the grid, or they took out cell phones or whatever, satellites, and we've been warning you about this, and now it's happened. So I suspect that or at least I believe, that we should look at this as a warning. I've been telling you for quite a while that all of this World Economic Forum, Great Reset, and Agenda 2030, it's all the same thing. And they want this stuff implemented between 2027 and 2030, which now is only 3 years away. So that's a lot of stuff to get done. If you look, and I know some of you have, many of you haven't. If you haven't, you need to start doing your own research, because it may not be the main foundational thing that's going on, but it's certainly getting close to that. I believe personally what their plan is bringing in the beast system. But their plan on total control of your life and everything, they want that implemented by 2030. They want it to start happening, like full force start happening by 2027. And by 2030, it's happened. That's a lot of stuff to happen in 3 years. And if they feel they're a little off course, and that they're saying that they need to push much harder to regain trust and to get back on track this year, then that's going to tell us right there that a lot of stuff is in store for us. And we need to be ready for this. Yes, the wars, the economy, the climate, the shipping stuff, the elections, it's all part of this, okay? Those are all like symptoms in a lot of ways. They're puzzle pieces. If you've listened to me any length of time, you've heard me use that as an analogy. They're just pieces of the bigger picture, okay? It's a huge, big mural on the wall. And all of these little things, you know, stuff that's happened in the COVID, obviously, the war in Ukraine, the Biden-Trump election, the train explosion in Ohio, all of this stuff and more are just pieces to the greater picture that's their goal. That's what they want. They want this all to happen. And all of these things are just symptoms of all that. And if they're saying that they're this far off track, or that they need to push their agenda even more and to regain the trust, and that they need to make sure things happen this year that puts them back in line of where they want to be, then that tells me that it's not going to be a very smooth ride this year. Now, we already knew that it wasn't going to be a smooth ride. We already knew, looking at just all the things that's going on, the election, the hundreds of thousands of illegals coming across the border every month, the wars, rumors of wars, all of this stuff, you know, solar maximum that's, you know, getting ready to start up. All of these things, we have known that 2024 was going to be crazy. But now we have to put the icing on the cake, which is the World Economic Forum with the elites, the almost top tier, probably not the top tier no one knows about. The people that we know about on the top tier of the men that rule the world, they're saying that, you know, they gotta do some things. They gotta move some things around, shake things up to get themselves back on track. And so that should tell you, folks, that we have probably quite a bit in store for us this year. I don't know what, I don't know when, I don't know how bad, how intense, but I can tell you it's not going to, the year's not going to fly by and just be smooth. I don't think the odds even exist for that. And I would suspect that you know that. We have to take things serious. We've got to keep our minds focused on what we're supposed to be doing. Don't get caught up on all these little rabbit trails. Don't let things kind of distract us. Don't let our own emotions and our disagreements and all of these things, you know, because this is also all spiritual. And so the spiritual aspect is going to be to divide us, to tear us apart, to cause husbands and wives to get along even less, friendships to break up, communities and mag groups and tribes to fall apart. All of this stuff. You know, children to walk away from their families, turn away from their upbringing, all this kind of stuff. This is all spiritual too. And we have to be prepared for that. We have to be doing the very best we can. You've got to have your A game on, folks. Some of you have been preppers for years. Some of you started when COVID started. Some of you started way back when Y2K started. Some of you have even been further back. Some of you come from the old, survivalist movement of the 70s and 80s. But now it's time to put our A game on. We're past that point that, it's just part of our life that we're doing. It's a habit to stock up on things. It's a habit to learn how to cut back. It's a habit to learn how to be more self-sufficient. These are just things that we do. It's just part of our lives. That's great. That's great that you're doing those things. But now it's time to get ready for the conflict ahead. And I'm not necessarily talking about the bullets and the guns conflict. Who knows if that's even going to happen? That's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about just the overall conflict that we will be facing, that we are and that we will be, that's ramping up because of all this stuff that's happening. We have to start taking it serious and getting ready. We need to be getting ourselves into that kind of warrior mindset. The same kind of thing, another analogy I've used many times. A warrior going off to fight in battle. Before it happens, when they know for a fact that they are being deployed or that the war is happening, that the battle is upon them, a good warrior doesn't start just panicking and falling apart in fear, because they know that the odds are they're probably going to fail. They're probably going to, not make it. They'll perish. A good warrior, a good trained warrior, one that's got his head screwed on straight, gets himself or herself, I don't want to leave out the ladies, gets themselves into a warrior mindset, that they're very focused on the target, very focused on the objective. And they're not allowing other things to shake them off of that train of thought and that focus. That's really where we need to be. It doesn't mean that we give up all the enjoyments of our life. I'm not telling you that, now it's everything serious. We're no longer, allowed to just enjoy life. I'm not saying that. Of course you enjoy life and you spend time with your family and you do fun things and all that. But when it comes to your preparedness, it needs to be very serious. The things that are happening, they're happening right in front of us. We're no longer talking years away. We're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about weeks, maybe months, but not that far off. And when things start to just kind of fall apart and happening, it's very likely, and many very learned and important people over the last few years have made this kind of a similar statement, that it will just be a progression until it hits a certain point, and then it's just going to start falling off a cliff. And once that happens, and there's probably once the falling off the cliff happens, I suspect it's not going to be much prepping anymore. It's not going to be much of any kind of preparedness going on. It's going to be, getting ready for that wave to hit. We need to start getting ourselves into that mindset, doing the things that we need to do in our lives, getting yourselves ready for this next season coming up. We're in winter, spring's next season. So what's your plans for producing food, improving the things around your little homestead that need to absolutely get done, so that it ensures you to be able to be as self-sufficient as possible, whether it's solar or water collection or animals or whatever it is. This is no longer a time to just kind of procrastinate and put things off. I'm speaking to myself, because I'm just like the rest of you. And I've got projects that's been sitting for, a couple of years now. We need to take it serious. We need to get ready and get our communities ready, our families ready, do it all. I talk a lot more about the specifics of this kind of talk over on my locals. If you want to sign up, it is only $3 a month. I think it's a pretty good deal. I upload completely separate videos just about every day over there. There's a link down below. You can go to the locals, which is the preparedhomestead.locals.com. It's a membership service. It's only $3 a month, and you can watch, like I said, a whole bunch of different content that I produce just for there. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order. It's time to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.